Speaking of cowards, right? We have our next segment, which is called Chumped or Chomped. The premise is very simple. We play video games. Video games have bosses in them. They are meanies, but sometimes they're actually weenies. We try to figure out, hey, this boss that you had a hard time with, that took you hours and hours to defeat, was it in fact a hard boss, or do you just kind of suck? For this segment, we're going to get Cory's impression on a game he's been playing recently.
All right, here we go. I have been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have recently beat the game. I liked it. There was a boss in there that I felt like just has to be talked about. I really enjoyed it. So the boss is the Leviathan. Now, this is kind of a spoiler, but not too much. So if you really don't want to be spoiled at all, I guess fast forward 5 minutes. But here we go. All right, so Leviathan is a summon, which is a creature that you can use on your team to help you in battles. Now, to get this summon, though, you first have to defeat him in battle. Now, he is a giant, if you know through, like, I guess the myths, he's a giant water dragon. Looks amazing. He covers up, I don't know, he's probably 200 feet tall compared to your characters in this game. And you fight him in this giant arena, and he has all these special moves, one including called the Tidal Wave. The Tidal Wave is a tough one because it hits your characters no matter where they're at. There's no way you can block it. There's no way you can escape. He will hit you. And in my experience, he took out all 3 of my party members right away the first time I fought him. Wow, didn't know about that. Went back to him. Died the same way. Third time, I became very prepared. I set up all my characters with their different spells that they had to use to defeat him. I went in there. I started battling him. He did the Tidal Wave. I had one of my characters, Barrett, survive it. He hurried up. He phoenixed down. Cloud and Tifa got him healed up. I healed up my partners as best as I could. He did it again. Now, this battle took probably about a half hour total of just pure fighting him, healing my teammates, running around the arena like a crazy man, and every so often he'd use his Tidal Wave ability. So my favorite part happens where I'm at the end here. He's got a little sliver of life. I'm going to win for sure. I have almost everyone healed up all the way. And then you see it. You see the big letters above his name, Tidal Wave, because they announce it. It's a little bit like an anime show. They announce what moves they're going to do beforehand. So I see that. I then have to make a executive decision. I heal up the one character that has the majority of life left, which is Cloud. He gets something to like 4,000 HP. Cloud has not survived this attack before. I don't know if I didn't have enough life with him at the time, but he has always died. Sliver of life left. Cloud's the only one healed. He uses Tidal Wave. Tifa, Barrett, both great people in the game. Really well characters. They die. It happens. Cloud survives with 20 life left. I run up to him. Yes, no. I'm exaggerating. It's so little that any one attack will kill me. So it might as well be 20. But while he does this, every time your character takes damage or deal damage, they gain points towards their special ability. In this game, it's called a limit break. It's your ultimate move. Cloud got hit with the Tidal Wave. He then gains his limit break. So I'm across the arena making a mad dash towards this Leviathan with my limit break. As I get to him, I'm pounding on the controller, get the limit break off, and I kill him with Cloud having absolutely 20, 40, 50 life left. It was a stand up and shout type of moment. I don't know if you guys have had those before, but I beat him and I stood up and I shouted.
That's great.
And my cat got scared and my dog got scared, but it was okay. I was the only one there to witness it, but it was amazing. And one of the best boss fights I've had in a couple years, I think. So I already know this was a 100% chomped. Am I correct?
I mean, we have to ask some questions and do some investigations, and really kind of determine things here. So let's see here. So you have a total of 3 characters, right?
Three party members, correct?
That you're combating, right? And you all have now. How far along in the game is this?
Man, maybe about halfway.
Okay,
I would say.
Okay, so not the ultimate baddie, but definitely a baddie that's to test your resolve and progress.
Maybe a little further than halfway. He's like the last summon that you get naturally throughout the story, I would say.
Okay.
So he's like the final summon,
Okay.
but not quite.
Okay. And so I now, because I remember I saw like a video on this. You have Barrett's the guy. Now for one, I'm not a Final Fantasy person, so Final Fantasy people do not judge me. Okay. But Barrett's the guy with the gun arm, right?
All right, I'll explain him real quick. Cloud has a big sword and big hair.
Yep.
Tifa has has hands that she uses to punch people, which doesn't really seem fair. And Barrett is a guy with a gun on his arm, which is awesome.
Okay. Yeah,
and he's got a sweet attitude. Love the guy.
Yeah. So
yes.
you're doing this. You got your gun guy, right? Now I'm guessing he's mostly just ranged attack stuff. He doesn't have to come in close. Right, you're mostly using Cloud to come in with the sword and hack away at the body.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And so every time this tidal wave came up, it was almost a one hitter on all your people.
So here's the deal. At this point in the story, I had about 4,000 HP with Barrett, had about 3,500 with Cloud and Tifa.
Okay.
At full life, which you really don't ever have full life once you start a battle. You're healing people constantly, but it doesn't always heal them all the way. So. Right. When I knew tidal wave was coming, I would spend all my points to heal Barrett all the way because he had the most HP. When that happens, the other two would die. They could not survive it. Barrett would always survive with about 500, 600, 700 HP, which then I would switch to Barrett and immediately try to heal my other two party members. The first two times it didn't work. I died. I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough preparedness, But yes, that's what happened.
Okay, now was there? I mean, how in accordance to there's a leveling system, right, of the progression?
Right.
So were you under leveled for this encounter? Do you think?
Yeah, I was just say, can you go back and get him?
You can do it. You can get him anytime. There's a side character there that you are exploring creatures and trying to figure out what they're all about. Once you do enough of that, he lets you fight these summons to unlock them. I was doing that pretty much throughout the entire game, though, so I think I had the earliest opportunity to fight this creature. And Final Fantasy VII is a pretty linear game, so there's not a lot of chances to what's the word I'm looking for here? Grind. You can't really grind and get your levels too high. So I do think I fought him at some of the earliest points I could.
Okay. Sending your people in there underprepared. I think
which in my mind makes me more of a Chomped, right? If I would have been a chump had I lost even one time overpowered. I was underpowered. I gave him a fair shot and he won twice. That's the great thing about loading is he actually never won once because I loaded it back up and he had no clue.
Using the technical aspects of a computer system.
Using the things they give me, yes.
Okay. I don't know, David. You leaning towards a chomped on this one or more of a chumped?
Based on my only Final Fantasy knowledge, and that's 10 and that's 2. And I know 7 is a little different than theirs. That's why I asked if you could go back and fight him. But saying it was pretty linear, sure, he probably fought him at the earliest he could. But it feels pretty chomped because that tidal wave move, I know how that is. And that's trash right there. It's not fair. I know it's a fight and it's not supposed to be fair. But, yeah, I'm going to go with chomped.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
Now, Jeremy, before you go on, I just want to ask you one question, okay?
Sure.
How many times in your gaming history have you stood up and screamed after a certain aspect of a game?
I stood up, screamed, and stomped on my PlayStation after a game of Madden 04 03.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
You were so elated that you had to stand up and let your emotions just out,
Wow. It would probably have to. Oh yeah, I can remember. I don't know if you guys remember. There was a game I was still younger, but there was a game for the PlayStation, original PlayStation, of the Jurassic Park Lost World game. There's a level where you're like a little green dinosaur and you're having to try to survive being stomped on by brontosauruses. This is a real level. This is a real level in a real game. I was dying repeatedly there, and when I finally got done, I felt just so much elation as a kid.
And
I
you
said I did the
you
typical,
whispered.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Right? Yeah, I did
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And you were
Yeah.
chomped at that moment. 100%. You were chomped, and that's
No.
why I cannot be chomped.
Well, so here's what I'll give you. Well, no, you're wrong about the kid part because I was an idiot, right? I was an idiot as a kid, right? So that's absolutely a chump because you're an idiot when you're a kid. But I'll give you this part, okay? I've done my fair fighting of dragons in Skyrim, okay, as a Dragonborn, and I know that they are not easy to defeat. And those are fire dragons. I could very much not even imagine fighting a water dragon. So I guess I will give you a chomped on this one. You've earned a chomp. I will give you a chomp.
Thank you. Play the little graphic that goes over this right now, like the little like do 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 do. I want something for this, okay?
Yes, I will find that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I will play the first 17 words that Celine Dion sings, and my heart will go on. That will be what I play on top of it. So it can be just a grand soliloquy.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's all. So there's only 17 words in the song.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.